So, today let's talk about how homeschooling and motherhood is compared to running a marathon. Now, I am not considering myself a runner by any means, but in the last year I got interested in running and I've come to a place I managed to get where I run 5 kilometers, and today I was my fastest ever this morning. I managed to do it in 36 and a half minutes, which they say is above average because the average woman runs 5 kilometers in 37 minutes. So, I feel pretty satisfied about that. But when I think back to a year ago where I couldn't run for 1 minute at a time without getting way too exhausted, I've the last while been thinking of how that is compared to the marathon, the race, the challenge of motherhood and homeschooling. So if we haven't been before, my name is Melinda. I'm a mother of 4 young children, ages 8 to almost 3. My family and I live in Costa Rica, and I teach other moms how to have a thriving homeschool. As a second generation homeschooler who has also taught school and went to school a couple of years, I feel like I have a good view of what works and what doesn't work in school settings and in homeschool settings. And I feel like my children are doing really well, and I would like to share some of that information and knowledge with other moms so that they could too have a thriving homeschool without all the stress and pressure, and with and also with high academic standards, not letting go. So I teach more specifically detailed in my courses and in my community that is linked below. You are welcome to check it out. It's free for now. And if you have any questions at any point in this video about anything that I'm sharing or anything else regarding homeschooling, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll get back to it as soon as I can. And subscribe if this is more of what interests you. So let's get back into how motherhood is like a marathon. Okay, as I was mentioning, when I started homeschooling, when I started training for running about a year ago, it's actually 11 months ago at this point, I could barely run. I was doing a couch to 5K because running has been my dream all my life and I just never really could. A couch to 5K challenge where it slowly takes you up, and I could barely run the 1 minute. And it was tough, and I could never have seen myself running 45 minutes at a time like I do now once in a while. It's very slow still, that's why I say it. Don't call me a professional runner, but just going 3 times a week, dedicated to it. Sometimes sickness, motherhood, different things interrupted, but always being consistent. And now, as I look back and see how much I can do, I just am amazed that the same me, who was a year ago unable to run for 1 minute, can now run for 5 without stopping. So, isn't that how motherhood is? I remember when I had my first, and my youngest sibling was born when I was 6, so I never really saw what it was like to have a baby in the house. Like I did, but I mean, I didn't remember. It was tough with my first. Even if she was a reasonably well behaved baby, she had trouble sleeping, but and then I had my second one 16 months later, and I'd always wanted to be a mom with a bunch of little ones. But it was tough. And I wish now if I'd go back, I don't know. I think nowadays women talk about it more. I never really heard about how hard young motherhood could be. And lately, in the last few years, I've heard more from others. So maybe we're just getting more open with sharing it. Maybe it's because I am on social media more than I used to be. But yet, there's another part that with the hard, it's come in like a lot of complaining or saying this is too hard. And I've been learning something in the last year, along with my running and other stuff. That is something that I wish we could tell mothers. Tell them, yes, it's incredibly hard. It'll be harder than you ever expected to have a couple of little ones. But it will also be, but you can get strong muscles. Running 1 minute was extremely hard. And thankfully, I think the running community is more forgiving than the motherhood community sometimes. They never beat me down. There were other runners who would run circles past me because I go to track and they run circles around me. And they always cheered me on. And so I think that is part of the the difference. It was okay that it was hard for me to start. And it's still, I'm nothing compared to a marathoner. I'm not near a marathon. I'm not even sure if that interests me going to that extent. But um, the runners came alongside me, and that's what I want to do for other young moms in the motherhood and homeschooling. Because once you put in homeschooling yet too, it can be a lot. I'm homeschooling this year my second and third grader. I have a kindergartner. I have an almost 3 year old. And this year is actually easier than last year when my baby was smaller and I had a first and second grader. But I learned something too. I learned to how much consistency works and how much you grow. Because no matter how impossible it would have been to run 35 minutes when I started 11 months ago, you grow, you grow. It's still stretching. Like the 35 minutes aren't just easy for me, but I can. And you grow in capacity. And what was the thing that made the difference? The only thing was consistently doing what I need to do. So if you're a young mom with one or two, or if you're starting homeschooling and you look at the older moms and wonder, how in the world do they do it? And it seems impossible to do. Well, I want you to remember this. They've done it for several years. Their muscles have gotten stronger, so to speak. Their lung capacity has gotten bigger, so to speak, comparing it to running. And the only thing you need to do is consistently show up. If you can't run for half an hour, we'll run for one, but consistently. Do the best you can consistently in motherhood, in homeschooling. If you can't homeschool with all the subjects you would like to, well, do one or two. Do math and reading consistently, and you'll find your capacity, your children's capacity, everything will grow and it will work out so much better. And you will get to a point where you're like those older moms where you can run for half an hour. That's just comparing it like that. And then if I would be consistent and keep on, which I don't know, I don't have a long-term vision for it now, though I want to keep on, you get to where you can run marathons. And I just want to cheer you on. As a mom who's doing the 35, I'm still not at a marathon. I'm still not running 4 hours, but I'm doing the 35 minutes. And if you're barely managing the one, that's okay. Come along, take courage, keep going, keep showing up for that 1 minute. And the next day, 1 minute again, and your capacity to manage everything will grow. So I hope this has been encouragement for you. Remember, if you're struggling in homeschooling or struggling with overwhelm, both of those courses of mine are in the community that is linked below, as well as my free homeschool planner. And we will see you in the next video.